Some people, depending on the generation, would think that the Greys is from Seattle because they're big Grey's Anatomy fans. But
my daughter would think that.
We're talking baseball here.
Yeah, we are talking baseball. Yeah. We're not talking.
I wanted to bring that up just because I want to cast a wider net for your audience.
Because it was something out of left field,
yeah.
And we're talking baseball, Field of Dreams.
Yeah. Do either of you know offhand how many total teams there were?
I do not.
How many teams were
in the Negro League? Yeah.
Take a couple wild guesses and I'll Google it.
I mean, Rieger is highlighting 4 for this collection.
I'm going to say
10.
I'm going to go 8.
I was going to go 8.
It was 8 or 12.
8 to 12.
Yeah, I'm going 8.
Why did you change from 8 to 10?
Just because I thought surely there's a couple more than double the 4 that are in the collection.
If I had to guess, I'd say there was probably 20. Because why wouldn't there be? But, I mean, a child of the 80s. I grew up with, 20 given baseball teams at any given time.
Sure.
I remember when the Colorado Rockies came along, and I'm like, whose helmet is this? Like, I don't know this logo. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? But then we found out. But you guys were right. It is 8.
It is 8. Okay.
8. Yeah. So now I'm wondering, for a second round, will Rieger showcase the other 4
for an anniversary? Maybe they'll come back with 4 more.
Yeah. I mean, if they re-released this collection every year or every few years or whatever. Why wouldn't we get it?
Should I make a plea? Andy, build it. They will come.
They will come. They will come. Speaking of they will come, welcome to the Savor the Burn podcast. My name is Jonathan. This is W2. How do you do?
Doing pretty fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Ready to get into this the J. Rieger's Negro League's Fielder's Choice Collection, the Homestead Grays Straight Rye Whiskey. But before that, no, your eyes do not deceive you. This is Mr. Kalamazoo, Mr. KC Kid, Mr. Chandler Johnson.
Hola, hello, how you doing?
Again.
Back at it again. I'm so excited to be with y'all. This is like, I feel like this is like a warm baseball glove. Just like I fit right into the mitt, and this is great to be with y'all all over again, and especially having some amazing whiskey that is celebrating Kansas City on a variety of levels.
Yeah.
With the Baseball Museum and also like J. Rieger, which is an amazing spot. So it's great.
And it's in the great month of June. We got Juneteenth in the month of June, which if you're not familiar with it, it's like whether you want to say Black or African American Independence Day. Where I don't know if it was the day that Lincoln signed the bill, or if it was the day where
it's the last,
like the Union Army came down and told different people, like, look, I don't know if you guys got the memo, but you're free.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the last spots that got the memo that it is.
Okay.
I'm fairly
Probably
certain,
Texas.
but yeah, and I think that's
nothing against you,
but
Texas.
I think that's where it comes from.
But it was probably you, Texas.
Yeah. But like one of those things that like so you mentioned about like Black and African American, and every time I think about this a lot because I do. It's one of those things that people will ask, like, well, do you think Black or African American, or which one do you prefer, stuff like that. And I've always preferred Black, and the reason why is because, we were just watching, a clip from the Oscars, and Steve McQueen, who was a director, won for, I think won Best Director. Again, fact check me. Best Director for 12 Years a Slave. And in the newspaper, they said African American wins for 12 Years a Slave. Well, he's British. So, like, one of the things that is really hard about being in America is that the assumption is, like, well, you see a Black person, that must be an African American because it's the kind of politically correct thing to say. but like you don't
or
know
a real live, honest to God African.
Yeah. So it's like so then the nationality you don't really know, and I mean, granted, black people just like any type of nationality that come from everywhere. So like the assumption is that like if it's like African American, so that's
not just black people in Africa.
Yeah. Yes.
There's all kinds of
But I think that's where I'd start off with, and I mean, I guess like you could say, hey, you're African, but I think that has such connotation with like being literally from Africa that like being black for me, saying black and then maybe black American, black British or whatever, like then opens the door for that. But that's the history lesson that I have for this episode. Tune in next time when I give some more of my perspective. Listen, I'm not speaking for all black people. I just want to
right.
Be straightforward.
You didn't come off like that. Like as a black man, I represent the entire community.
Because
it wasn't like
I know
that
there's tons of black followers, African American followers, black American followers, Africans that are following
Americans of African descent.
Yeah, Americans of African descent, Americans of African Asian descent,
African Asian descent,
potentially black.
We're talking
Asian.
about some pretty fucking women.
That'd be wild.
African Asian women.
That's great. Woo! Woo! Anyway, all that's to say that like I'm not representing all of them, and I feel like that deserves a drink.
Well, before we drink, tell us about this. Tell us about this, the straight rye whiskey and the Homestead Grays, and what other information you may have. And I'll go ahead and get to pouring.
Well, this is our second offering out of this collection from J. Rieger's. This is the Homestead Grays small batch straight rye whiskey. Category is rye whiskey. There is no age statement again. This comes in at 100 proof, and this is a straight rye whiskey. The write-up on this one says, this small batch straight rye whiskey.
Galveston, Texas.
The final spot was in Texas. So it's when the last word came through. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. This small batch straight rye whiskey honors the Homestead Grays, 10-time league title holders and Negro World Series champions in 1943, 44, and 48. Pennsylvania is the birthplace of rye whiskey. I did not know that.
I didn't either. Pennsylvania
is the birthplace of rye whiskey, and like that state's traditional rye, this spirit has spice. Yet it is well balanced with complex aromas and rich flavors. A very small batch run, this limited edition spirit boasts 100 proof, 50% ABV, celebrating the 50 years in popular team entertain crowds in the Pittsburgh and Washington, D.C. areas.
That's cool.
That's very cool. And again, back to just talking about the details that Rieger's puts in their products, taking that 50 years and deciding to, well, let's make this a 50% ABV, 100 proof whiskey. Super cool.
And I like that they have that information on the back of the label here.
Oh, very nice.
And once again, we're looking at the classic Rieger's glass. It's the same bottle shape and kind of fluting on the shoulders. You've got a black stopper, just like a black stopper, whatever, stopper top, just like all the other three have. And composite cork. It's got a cool neck label on it, with the NLB block letters on there, Negro League Baseball.
Can I do a little quick comparison test real quick, in the sense of like that you see there's the pennants on this one, but then there's the baseball glove on this one.
Oh, very nice.
So just a small changes around it. Like it's got a border around it, and this one
they're highlighting the 50% and the 100 proof. Oh my goodness.
Got that old school baseball glove on there. The nose good? What's on the nose?
The nose is great.
And so, we don't have any tasting notes as far as what the website tells us.
Yeah, that's the thing with this is I was able to pull bits and pieces off of their marketing site. Do not have any tasting notes on this.
That's weird. Like on the I was expecting more rye, but I'm picking up a little bit of barley. Do you pick up that?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm not alone.
It's got a very distinct rye spice on it, but I feel like it's I don't think it's a mellow rye, but it on the nose, to me it feels like it's well rounded.
So do you have this is just looking forward out of curiosity. So do you have tasting notes for the the other two?
Nope.
So one of the things I'm interested to know is any of it inspired by the location of these places? So like being that this is a Philly team, is there anything that like would be
besides rye,
like that would add on to giving more of a Philly feel versus like a Kansas City Monarchs kind of feel? You know what I mean? Or like,
I have to believe that because they pointed out and decided to go with rye for this, because Philly being the birthplace of rye whiskey,
which I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's really cool. I have to think that they probably paid very close attention to their mash bill to follow suit in a classic Philadelphia style.
So just keeping it straight to the point and everything.
But I'm definitely picking up some barley. Yes. So to be a straight rye, it's going to have to be aged a minimum of 2 years, and it's going to be 51% rye to be considered a rye.
whereas bourbon would be 51% corn. And aged 2 years in a new American white oak barrel. So all right, so what was the straight rye?
And blended only from to be a straight bourbon or a straight rye. The straight also means that it is blended only from that batch.
Okay.
So you're not bringing in someone else's rye and blending it in there. It's blended only with your rye.
So like I'm getting like traditional rye and bourbon-y kind of notes. Like there's the caramel that we picked up on the other one.
I'm not getting a whole lot of caramel.
It's something sweet. Like is it brown sugar, toffee?
Well, I was going to say more vanilla-y. So
vanilla.
Yeah, brown sugar. I think
the sharpness of the rye is kind of what's throwing me off on that. I thought caramel just because it smells sweet.
See, I'm not getting a sharpness on the rye.
Really, I just know it's not a mellow rye. It's not like that Jim Beam rye that I've been drinking the shit out of. Jim Beam. The Jim Beam rye I've been drinking the shit out of. It's got a bit of a mellower rye to it. I don't talk about Jim Beam in every episode. I'm probably sick and or dead.
Okay.
So
that's what's going on there.
I'm not cleaning that off of my camera lens.
But I don't know. It smells like a sharper rye. But we've talked about rye and how many different rye grains are out there. I mean, it's just like corn. There's 26 or whatever different pheni or whatever of rye grain.
So going back to this, do you think that like with the Monarch, they try to stick towards what their bourbon tastes like with a little bit of the change there, and then this one they shifted obviously like we talked about, like being that it's
Rieger's has a bottled and bond straight rye whiskey that is their own. With what we talked about with the Monarchs KC whiskey, it being the other three being the components of what makes their KC whiskey, and that is rye, bourbon, and corn whiskey.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to getting into that corn whiskey one. It's the light whiskey is what they call it.
Considered a light whiskey.
Yeah, which is wild. But yeah, I'm not picking up on a lot of corn. But I mean, do you get tobacco on this? I rarely ever pick up tobacco, but it smells like a cigar, like a dry cigar, unsmoked.
Okay, so what I was gonna say, how would you describe that smell? Or
just like a cigar that you just slipped out of the pack. Is that open by chance? Have you already opened it? You don't have to.
I have not opened.
Maybe you can smell it through the package.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. Now that's a Buffalo Trace cigar, so it is going to smell different, of course.
Sure.
So anyway, so that's why. And I hardly ever pick up tobacco on anything, but yeah, I'm picking up rye, picking up like some dry tobacco. I'm ready to get this on the palate. How about y'all?
Let's do it.
There's that rye. Welcome to the fucking party. Yeah.
It's sweet though. It's sweet right out of the gate.
Okay. This is a very direct, old school rye. There's a licorice on the finish.
Yep.
There's
definitely licorice.
Are you picking up on that?
Yeah.
Picking up on that? What all flavors have you picked up on so far?
So hold on a second.
You've had it on the palate. You've
maybe some
had a chance to get it on the clove.
This is such an interesting, and I'm bedazzled by the finish on this right now, because like
there's a
especially
lot going on here.
a couple of it like tastes like
That's a great rye.
Yeah.
for baseball reference. It's like it is like just a fastball pitch straight down the middle. Like it's there's no curves to this one. It's like we're gonna give you what we got, and this is it. Which this
pitch.
one like felt like kind of like I don't know, where it's like a little bit of a curveball where it's like, oh man, like that's great, that's smooth.
It's gonna dance around a little bit.
Like, it's got that.
Make you wonder what the fuck it's doing.
Yeah.
This one here, like you said, straight fastball right to the palate and down the throat, just like.
And you feel it, like that first taste is like, it's right there.
On the second taste though, the second time on the palate, it was a lot smoother, but it hits like 100 proof. Yeah. It's got whatever that sweet is on the finish. It's right there too.
Did anyone say kind of like a licorice taste?
Yep. You pick up on it
on the second. Excuse me, on the second part, absolutely. So like after that rye subsides, and you have that second like taste, like I feel like the licorice is the thing that like pops through like immediately for me.
Well, after fuck, how about banana? Anybody got, like, when I first smelled it, I thought banana. Like when I was putting the cork back in, I was like, what smells like banana?
I'm not getting the banana.
So like I'm talking like the howler head banana. It's not like
so I have not had a chance to try the Rieger's bottled and bond straight rye. You have. How do you think that this compares to that?
The other one's hotter. This one is I think it's the same proof, but it's this
bottled
one
bond
here
is under proof, so
this has more to offer. This one's got swagger.
Okay,
if that's a thing. Like it's got an attitude that the other one doesn't.
Put that
have.
in the description.
Yeah,
swagger.
Yeah.
I like now. I just want to do a bunch of like baseball references. Like this is gonna
absolutely.
This is gonna make you walk around with tossing bat flips all over the place. Just got that.
What have you been paying attention to the Royals this year?
They won. They won recently.
They're winning so much.
Yeah.
Are they proving something?
What the hell's going on, guys?
Yeah.
Like, fuck. Like, do you want to stay or do you want to move? Keep winning games. Let's talk about it. I mean, I might change my mind on how I want to vote in the fall because it's coming up again. Here in a few months in November, it's going to show up again on the ballot. And I think this time it's only going to be the Chiefs.
Hopefully they just they're transparent about what they're trying to do and not pulling a fast one day of.
Yeah, right. So yeah, that's what happened this last time a couple months ago in April. It was like, the fuck are you guys trying to do? Oh, you're going to threaten to leave me? Bitch, I don't even chase my whiskey. I'm not chasing you. If you want to leave, like what Tom Petty said it. Like he said, look, if I don't take you all of the way, then go. Just go. Because remember, good love is hard to find.
One of the things I love about...
Was that a rocktail?
We just had a hot minute of political talk that just like went straight into the...
Pro wrestling's next.
It is...
Do not get me started on that. I have been...
The Stunner returns.
No. The final boss returned. Do not get me started on that. I've been like... Since we talked about it that first episode.
Yeah, how we're not supposed to talk about politics, religion, or professional wrestling.
I'm deep in it.
Yeah.
Like I'm still like I'm monitoring it. Like we're in the just gonna say we're in the Triple H era.
Again, yeah. He's taken over the WWE.
Taken over. Cody Rhodes is the champion now.
How did that happen? But the American Nightmare.
But the Bloodline storyline has been fantastic, and I again, I am a lay Russell watcher, but like even myself had to like keep up with what's going on right now because
there was a lot going on there.
It is good storytelling for those that love. Like if you love, again, if you like Grey's Anatomy, if you just take just a hot second to just give yourself, expand the reality of like the aspect of like the fighting and what's going on in the ring.
Yeah.
But the story behind it of like why certain people are getting into the ring, R-Truth and the Miz and everything like that is great. Mm-hmm. I just like there's a
the biggest fan of the Miz, but
he's an interesting,
take it or leave it.
Anyway, there's a special place in my heart, corner of the heart. I grew up when Stone Cold and The Rock and all them D-Generation X. I was running around as a kid around in the playground where they were doing the cross. I'm not going to do it right now. Not for keeping it PG. I don't know what the audience here is.
You guys want to see him do it?
No. that's on the Patreon.
You want me to move this bottle?
That's on the Patreon.
I mean, we're of drinking age, right?
That's on the Patreon for the bonus features for all that type of stuff.
Can I see that?
No, don't you even know?
I'm just going to hold it.
It's not going to happen.
Want me to spit my hand?
But the G-Generation...
I'll spit my hand.
No, it's not going to happen. But the G-Generation X... But I was all there. But like it was just one of those things where I truly like loved it, and now like I'm back in it. I'm sucked back in with it. So it's just great. And the final boss, one of my favorite things is you gotta look at the entrances. So the final boss entrances like are great. So The Rock showing back up. This is what like I would love like. I know that the production value has increased. Like, I'm hoping that by the 20th time that I'm showing up here, that I have my own entrance music and that like I walk in, maybe some pyro.
We could cut a promo.
Maybe some pyro. I've never been a person that wants to have a belt, but like at least for this, I'd have a wrestling belt. Yeah. And I'd talk
dudes.
How and where do we get those?
Right.
I'd wear one of those.
Yeah.
I would talk smack. I would be like, I'd be like, this, you think that this bourbon's going to take me down? You think that, like...
This bourbon doesn't have anything.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't have enough to take me down.
Yeah.
He's like, I need another drink. These assholes are talking professional wrestling. Oh, my God.
Step into that rye. You know? Like, you got to do it.
Snap into the Homestead.
Yeah.
Ooh, Grey's Anatomy. Right. Philadelphia. Bonesaw's ready.
And once you start talking like that, you can't help but like want to keep on talking. Like you take a sip. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. And there's probably 100,000 Rieger-Maniacs out there drinking.
Rieger-Maniacs. Rieger-Maniacs. That was...
They're out there, yeah.
This dude.
Yeah.
Pay attention, Riegers.
Write that down.
Yeah,
Rieger-Maniacs.
Rieger-Maniacs. Riega-Maniacs. Put that on a t-shirt.
Give credit where credit's due, because
yeah,
this
Rieger,
dude right here.
Pay me, please. Pay me. If I start rolling around with a bunch of Rieger-Maniacs shirts, and I don't see a paycheck in my mailbox, I'm gonna have some questions. That's what I'm gonna have.
I'm gonna have some comments and concerns along with the questions. Like, WTF is this S?
Yeah.
He came up with it on the Savor the Burn podcast.
Yeah.
You all somehow found out about it, and you're not gonna help the dude out. You're not gonna lift him up.
Yeah.
He's a designer.
Yeah. I'll show up with my championship belt, ready to throw hands.
Ready to smack down.
Yeah. Which is on Fridays. So
what do we give this on the nose?
I gave it a 4 even on the nose. It had a lot to offer. I picked up on something that I hardly ever pick up on, and that's tobacco. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just, it seemed like it was there. I liked how you could pick up on the rye on the nose. You said that was hard to find. You were picking up on something else.
I don't think the rye was hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
It just, I didn't feel like the rye was sharp.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's sharper than a mellow rye.
But some ryes like cut right through your
They cut right
nasal
through
cavity.
Yeah, right through the paint on your car.
Mm-hmm. This one does not do that.
How about you, Mr. Chandler?
I gave it a 3.75. In the sense of like that, for me, I didn't get all of that from the nose.
You
like,
got one or two things, or no? That was the last.
That was from but like it was
Okay.
it was very just kind of
You could tell it was whiskey.
Whiskey, and that it was the harshness of the rye.
You got the licorice.
Well, that
On the
was
finish.
on the taste and the finish. Like that's where I got. But like, I like it. Just basically was like, oh, I know that this is rye, and that was all I got, and so it just didn't really register with my nose.
That's right. I gave it a 4 even. It is more than I gave it on the Monarchs, but I like rye. I'm a big fan of rye, and this one, like I said, I pulled up the tobacco, which I bring it up so many times because I'm excited because I never smell that. Like I never pick up on that, or even on the palate, it's hard for me to find. But this time, boom, it was there for me anyway. So I thought that was pretty cool. And what I liked, speaking of the palate for me was it was reminiscent of everything you want your straight rye whiskey to be. Powerful, right there in your face. With enough proof to let you know it's there, and then on the flip side of that, it had so much other flavor happening. It was like a run around the bases on a warm summer day. So that's why I gave it a 4.5 on the palate.
Well, he skipped me on the nose.
Son of a limp biscuit! I thought I asked.
Well, that's okay.
I thought
you
asked me.
I gave it a 4.
You gave it a 4 on the nose, and why is that? Because of how much you could pick up on it, or
I enjoyed the nose. I thought it was I thought it was fantastic. It was a good ride.
Damn, Skippy, you started off in your whiskey journey not a fan of rye?
Correct.
Okay. So how many years?
I've come to see the light.
Right. That was a long time ago. You came to see the light of the rye light. But
right.
How many years ago was that? So, how many years have you been developing kind of your palate as far as rye goes?
Probably just the last couple of years.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you don't like something, why would you keep trying to like it?
Yeah.
Like me with strawberries. I think I'm insane because I don't like strawberries. Everybody fucking loves them.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. I tried rye early on. I think rye was probably my first tap dance into whiskey, and I did not like it, and so I deviated from it. And for the longest time, I never went back to rye because in my head, I knew, I don't like
it's
that.
Hot garbage.
Let's stay over here on the sweet the bourbons. But at some point, I found my way back over there, and then about a year ago, finding that Balcones rye whiskey, which is 100 proof, had all these chocolate notes on there, and
totally unexpected.
We were like, "This is a rye?"
Yeah, and that was one of those Flaviar taster bottles.
It was, yeah. We just had a taste of that,
about this size, from a bottle that size.
Yeah. So we started off tasting one of these. We got them in a tasting box, and we were so blown away by everything it had to offer
because we had no idea what to expect.
We're like, we've got to get into that, and I've seen it out in the wild way more regularly than we did at the time we first tried
at the time I guess they were new to the area.
Yeah, but a year into it now, I'm seeing Balcones everywhere, and so you showed up today with the full-size bottle.
I was just going to bring it into existence and just, feed it to the monster. But but I thought
for the podcast.
It was in the truck, and I'm like, no. We should do a return to Balcones Rye.
Yeah.
And
because it was so good.
Yeah, and give the full bottle an actual try and see if we come up with those.
The color of that.
So dark, dude. And see if we come up with those chocolatey notes and all that stuff also. Again,
in comparison this. Like, I mean,
they're both
similar.
They're both dark,
but I mean, like I look at it like even. I mean.
Yep. I mean, it's darker.
Darker, yeah.
Texas rye.
Mm-hmm.
Waco, Texas.
Fucking Waco. But yeah, and then we got enough in that bottle to make cocktails with it. Whether they have some on the website or not.
And then it can go into existence to die.
Yes, yeah, because that's where bottles go to die.
He tells me all these stories about bringing Angel's Envy to practice, and the guy's going, "This is hot.
This is hot."
And I'm
what?
like, it's candy. Angel's Envy is candy.
Yeah.
But the bottle still dies. So it doesn't really matter.
I took
it's hot. Give me another one.
Bottle of that Angel's Envy small batch over there. It lasted a practice and a half. I was like, how the fuck? What is wrong with you people? But whatever,
Well, I'm glad that like strokes. You're liking rye. I'm still on that journey.
Still working on it. Okay.
Still working on it. So I think that's where probably some of my
See, now you're sounding like us as parents to Henry, as we're trying to get him to try new things, and whether it be food or whatever, we're always trying to get him to try something. And every once in a while, he'll come across something and he'll ask us. But he asked Mama the other day, do you like such and such? And she's like, I'm still learning to like it. And
all right.
So that's kind of the what we say when we're trying new things and he doesn't like it or whatever. Let's not say we don't like it. We're still learning to like things.
As we learned in the Mother's Day episode, she's still learning to like grape soda, and you and I, we will forever still be trying to learn to like that peanut butter and jelly cocktail.
Oh God,
that did not work out. But you know what?
Bad.
We tried it.
We
learned, and then we came back with that Howler Head Old Fashioned.
Slam dunk.
I was gonna say, like, why don't you like strawberries? And I have no.
It's the taste.
Okay.
I just don't like them. I get a gag.
Well, I just don't. And I'm gonna say this, and because I'm gonna throw myself under the bus because I'm your guy. I got you. So like, I don't like a lot of sweets. Like I struggle with sweets. I love dessert. Like I will try a dessert and stuff like that, but I do struggle with them because like chocolates is something that like I don't eat ice cream on a regular basis. So like I like will have that acquire trying them, but like it's one of those things that like people lose their minds over. It's like I will have my dessert before I will have anything else. Me. I would have 14 steaks before like I'd have desserts. Now, your wife, game changer.
Miss Katie,
game changer. Came down with the banana bread. Game changer.
That's a whole ass loaf for you.
Yeah.
That's respect.
It honestly felt like kind of like, and I'm like kind of like a dealer. Like she like handed it to me, and I said okay, and I like waited, and I said this is how we rolling these days. I said okay, let's go, and like I got a whole loaf, got a whole brick of banana bread.
It was still warm too, wasn't it?
It was still warm.
I saw it sitting there on the stove. I'm like, I know exactly where that's going. That's going home with Chandler.
Yeah, and very shout out to Katie. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. That's yeah.
Last couple times he's been on, he missed the banana bread.
Am I supposed to do it now?
Yeah.
Is this the ASMR part of the banana bread?
So you're right. I did skip you on the nose, right. And you gave it a 4.0, and so I gave it a 4.5 on the palate. What did you give it on the palate?
I gave it a 4.25.
4.25. All right. Because it was everything the nose had plus a little something extra.
A little something extra.
How about you, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Kalamazoo?
It is 4 for me. So
4 even?
Yeah. Again, we've already talked about this. That like for me, rye isn't the.
But still, dude, you gave it a 4.
I gave it 4 because I know it is what it is, and it says what it is, so I respect that it is what it is. Like that's kind of how I feel about it. If you don't BS me and just kind of that fast pitch right down the line, I'm like, I will respect you for being that.
That's a heater right down the line.
And that is perfect description, right? Like it is the heater right down the line. Like I felt it. If you want that kind of warm feeling of tasting something, like you're gonna feel that like immediately.
This has a Kansas City hug.
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
It's 100 proof rye. Like,
yeah.
It's everything you want it to be, only not rot gut.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know.
And there's parts where, like, even having this conversation, it's like I want to bump it up just a little bit, but I'll keep it at the 4.
Like your first impression, your first impressions be your first impressions.
Yeah.
My grandma always said, "An Irishman's first thought is his best thought." So you're Irish now. Not on Juneteenth. Anyway, so what?
No, Black Irish, but it's okay.
Black Irish, yeah, like Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy, the singer bass player, black man, black.
But Black Irish?
Yeah, in Ireland. Yeah. Yeah. So how about the finish? What'd you give it on the finish?
I gave it a 4 as well. So I kind of kept it consistent from basically palate to finish in the sense of making sure, like for me, the part that I did really like that again would maybe change my thoughts. So like I would waver between a 4 and a 4 1/4. So like that's kind of how I felt. I kept it at a 4, but like after that like taking another sip of it, that licorice really
the second sip
really just
showed some stuff,
pushed through, and that was really great. But like when I first tasted it, again, the heat has been. That's why I gave it a 3 and a 0.75. That's why I gave it a 4, because the heat was the first thing that I ever like really experienced. It was only until the second, attempt that's when I started feeling the like licorice and the other elements that were really part
and that
of
stuff showed up on the finish pretty clear. That's what I noticed.
Yep.
How about you, W2? What'd you give it?
I gave it a 3 3/4.
3 3/4. Okay.
And I didn't necessarily drop it down any.
You dropped it a half point from palate to finish
for any particular reason, other than I didn't feel like the finish on this was not that long.
Right.
It wasn't a short, abrupt finish.
Like the rye spice was pretty much gone by the time the finish came in.
Yeah, the rye spice is gone by time finish comes to
But still, you were left with some cool stuff that you don't normally find elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still kind of warm.
Yep.
Had that licorice, had some sweetness.
Yep.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Bottle presentation.
I left mine at 4 1/4.
4 1/4. I left mine at 4 because I mean that's where it was on the other one, and it seems like this one follows suit. It's got the information on the back, a little bit of history. It's essentially the same damn thing, just with the different information on it.
So that's where I kind of kept it. I kept it where I had the Monarchs with 4 1/4. Part of me, like if someone once we get through all of them, it's one of those things where it's like, which one do I love more than the other one? Because all of them have very similar aesthetics, and then like 1 or 2 changes, right? And that's where it becomes interesting, because it's like, what are those really minimal things that change? And I love the element of the glove and it pushing through. I love that, like the aspect of the gray and how much like the dark elements really push through. They don't really. I mean, granted, the Monarchs, it's all red, but like it just like, I don't know. The way that they've made that gray so big, it just is like, like this makes sense. And there's just subtle changes to this that is like beautiful as well. I mean, for me, these are like some of, I really enjoy the simplicity of this and all of these bottles.
I also like Homestead is reversed out.
Yeah.
A lot.
I like how normally you get a rye from anybody else. There's going to be green on the label. There's no green on this label.
No.
So it took a step back from tradition to do homage, to show respect to the grays.
Yeah.
So that brought your final score to 8 even.
8 even. Yeah.
Which is not bad at all. Is that no? You were 8 1/4 last time.
Yeah.
So
I was 8.3.
Okay.
5.7. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Listen,
Oh, you're right. 8.375. So 8 and 8. No, 8 3/8. 8 3/8. So yeah, so that was good. So I'm looking forward to seeing what W2 came up with.
Mine came to 8 1/8.
8 1/8. All right.
8.125.
Which not a
much
bad
over.
score.
Yeah.
Not a bad score. Mine came up to 8 1/2. You know, I really did love.
We're getting closer.
I did love the Monarchs, but I've always been a fan of rye, so
That's a great
rye's
rye.
going to hit harder for me.
It's a great rye.
on the points scale. So I wrote down here a straight rye with 100 proof swagger you don't want to miss. Everything the classic straight rye whiskey has to offer, but with undeniable attitude.
for sure.
Yeah.
You have any final thoughts?
Like it.
Well, I was gonna say that is the Philly way,
The Philly way,
which is very much
birthplace of rye whiskey. Come to find out, I had no
That's
idea.
so cool.
Yeah.
which is definitely this. One of the things that I was gonna say with like the designs and everything like that would be very interesting to see what the jerseys and kind of like the marketing of that like looks like, because I mean, again, gray outfits. I mean, I know the Monarchs, but like gray outfits, I'd be interested to know what this looks like in comparison to like the overall design and stuff like that. But it was very much the Philly special. Right here.
And on the empty nose, the empty glass nose, it's the grains. But
I'm in love. I'm in love with the second nose of the empty glass.
It's like the rye
It's always
is a soft
so
cereal.
much different. Yeah.
It's a soft cereal grain. And when we say cereal, we don't mean like Lucky Charms.
Okay.
Right. It's like what people across the pond would call cereal, like oatmeal or cream of wheat
or even grape nuts.
What is it called? Grape nuts. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this one's grape nutty, but it's like brown rice.
Well, I will say that regardless of anything, this is the Field of Dreams with you y'all. So I appreciate y'all. So thank you so much.
I'll drink to that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, yeah. So, no matter who you're drinking with, whether you're watching professional wrestling or Field of Dreams or
Deadpool.
Deadpool, or what you're
Coming
drinking,
out soon,
or if you're in Savor the Burn Studios or not, it doesn't matter. Bub, never forget.
Keep on burning.